26 years. That's how long it took for McLaren to get back at the top of the Constructors Championship. Many congratulations to them for securing this championship in a comprehensive fashion at the end of a wonderful 2024 campaign for them in an exciting race under the lights in Abu Dhabi. The last time McLaren won their Constructors' Championship, both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri weren't even born yet. Commiserations to Ferrari and lots more to discuss with the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix now in the books and the 2024 season now in the books. So let's do a quick roundup. Tired Pod viewers, thank you so much for your engagement. Please do us a favor and hit subscribe if you haven't already. We are inching close to that magical 1,000 subscriber number. We're hoping to reach that number before the start of the 2025 season. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. Please share the pod with anyone else that you think might be interested. And we look forward to your comments. We look forward to your engagement. A lot of cool stuff coming up in the off season. But do us a favor, hit that subscribe, give us a comment, like, if you will. Thank you. Okay, so this was a wonderful race under the lights in Abu Dhabi. It started off with some fireworks right at the first corner of the first lap. And I know most of you would have been thinking this would be Max versus Lando, but for a change, we got Max versus Oscar. And you know, as it played out, Max was a little bit, let's just say, too optimistic in terms of trying to make that move on Oscar. Pretty much nuked Oscar's race, pretty much nuked his own race too. He did end up getting a 10-second penalty, and we'll have a chance to discuss a lot of that. But what I think the takeaway from that particular move from Max is not necessarily this race itself, but the very fact that he is probably sending a shot at Oscar for next year. And I really think it kind of sets this up very well for 2025, because if in fact McLaren are going to be as strong as they are, as strong as this year, next year, and Max Verstappen is presumably not going anywhere. I think it'll be interesting. We've already seen the Max versus Lando battle play out. I think it'll be interesting to see the Max versus Oscar battle play out. But once the first lap was over and Lando was securely far out in the lead, it didn't seem like he would have any missteps. And Lando's shown flashes of brilliance especially when he gets ahead at the end of the first lap. Singapore comes to mind in recent memory, and he just sort of drove off, controlled the race. It never quite looked like McLaren would be under pressure, and they look like they had a step above Ferrari as well. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Zach Brown. This has been a wonderful season for McLaren. We've been critical of them at various points, but the reality is that they did not expect to be at this place at this point in time. This is something they expected to happen next year, not so this year. So they've sort of arrived to the party early. And the fact that they were able to secure the constructors probably bodes well for where they're going next year. And it will be an interesting next year as well. So congratulations to the McLaren team. Coming from a Ferrari fan, I am disappointed, but there's really not much I could have expected my team to do. I want to give a shout out to Carlos for being amazing. He did everything right. He started P3, went into P2 at the opportunity that he got. He put Lando under pressure for a little bit, but it clearly seemed like McLaren had about a tenth, maybe a little bit more in them throughout, and Lando was not going to make any mistakes. So it really there's not a whole lot Carlos himself could have done, but he tried his best. He brought it in for a P2, probably the second best way that I imagine he would want to see his Ferrari career. And I couldn't be more thankful for all the wonderful memories he gave me. I think of Singapore 2023 was one of those joyful moments that I really, really enjoyed. I'm going to miss him as a Ferrari fan, and we'll have a chance to talk about that a little bit more with Shez in the off season when we plan other things. But a wonderful race by him, and an even more brilliant race by the Ferrari boy, by the golden child that Ferrari has invested in. What a way to come back. I mean, P19, he overtook so many cars in the first half of the first lap. He was P8 by the end of the first lap. And to make his way all the way up to P3. And shout out to the Ferrari pit wall as well for really calling in a wonderful pit stop to usurp Pierre Gasly and George Russell in the process as well. So wonderful result for them. Unfortunately, not nothing they could have done in this particular race. Given the fact that they're ending P2 only a mere 13 points behind McLaren, it really hurts, to be honest. And for me, these 13 points were basically lost in Spain. That was it. They brought in a package in Spain that was completely horrible. It set them back in the wrong direction, and the fact that they were able to even hang on to P2 a few races after that was quite the testament to the team and the drivers themselves. But the reality is that this championship was probably lost right there. But nonetheless, I'm so happy to see Charles finish where he did, given where he started, and this is going to be amazing when Lewis comes to the team next year, and if Lewis brings the promise that he does bring, and Leclerc is clearly a few steps above where he has been from even a couple seasons ago. That bodes really well. So exciting times ahead. We do have to talk about Sergio Perez, right? Because he went out in, I guess, what could be the symbolic way of going out in what this 2024 campaign has been for him. Unfortunate, not entirely his fault in the way he went out, but we might have seen the last of Sergio Perez. We don't quite know. The rumors from the paddock seem to indicate that Liam Lawson will get the promotion and Checo will move into an ambassadorial role or might even completely leave the team a la Daniel Ricciardo style, kind of exit. And I think that would be unfortunate because Sergio's given us many great moments, and it's rather unfortunate to see this kind of end that way. What would also be unfortunate is if Yuki Tsunoda got passed up. Shez and I have been advocates for Yuki, as have many of us in the F1 community. I just don't quite understand why they wouldn't even consider giving him the seat. And look, this is not a shot at Lawson. He might well be outstanding. But Yuki has shown us that he can go well if he's given the car. And I, for one, would love to see him besides Max, even if it is just for one season. But it sounds like it's gonna be Lawson instead of Checo, and that'll be a sad end. Perhaps Checo will make it back to the grid with Cadillac, but who knows? Right. We should talk about Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton. And I thought one of the things that was really cool about how this race played out for them is, again, Lewis kind of had almost a Charles Leclerc kind of drive, right? And that he couldn't make it past Q1. And then in the race, his race came alive. He was the only ones to start on the hard tires. Clearly, this was not Mercedes's forte in terms of them being competitive with McLaren and Ferrari and maybe even Red Bull. But George did a brilliant job himself, but Lewis really kind of gave flashes of brilliance that we have seen time and time again, as recently as Las Vegas. And for him to be on the opposite strategy, which looked like a really bad strategy for a long time, we really made it work. And what a great way to end the race, right? Passing George on the last lap in the way that he did on the outside. Quite amazing. And then to really paraphrase or really directly quote Toto Wolff, that was a champion's drive. And I think that, outside of a race win, this is probably the best way that he could have imagined leaving the team, leaving strongly, leaving by passing his teammates. And now, oh, by the way, in the years that George and Lewis have been together, Lewis is actually going to pip him for the number of total points scored by the driver, by the Mercedes driver. So that was quite interesting. For one, I'm excited seeing that Lewis drive and Lewis coming to Ferrari. We will talk more about that at a later time. There's a lot to discuss looking into the 2025 season. I do want to give a few shout outs to a couple of folks. First, Alpine for a wonderful season. After the first couple of races, it was quite amazing to even think about Alpine being anywhere close. So we thought they would be dead last. And the fact that they're finishing P6 is quite amazing. It really is. Congratulations to Pierre, who looks every bit the lead driver that we thought he would be, and seems to have resurrected his Formula One career there. Um, on a sort of a somber note, it was sad to see Bottas go out in the way that he did. It sounds like he's still going to remain in Formula One, perhaps being a reserve driver for Mercedes, which I think would be pretty cool. But would have loved to see him being able to finish the race. I certainly hope that he doesn't leave the grid because he is quite the personality. And now that we don't have a Daniel Ricciardo, I think Valtteri Bottas is probably sort of a popular pick for an outstanding Formula One driver with a great personality as well. And then we also saw K-Mag go out in kind of the same fashion, although he did get a fastest lap and there was that. But goodbye to Valtteri for now and Magnussen for now. And so we will come back, Shez and I, with a deeper dive on the race itself and the season itself. But I do want to give again a shout out to McLaren. They were fourth in the standings after the first race, and probably didn't even look like they deserved to be fourth after the first race this season. It took them more than half the season to get up to P2. I think it was right around race 13 or 14 where they finally managed to get into P2 in the standings. And for them to kind of win the season is an amazing job by all of them. So congratulations to Zach Brown. Congratulations to Andrea Stella. Congratulations for Lando Norris for capping off the season in the way he did with a comprehensive win. I think it'll be exciting to see the two McLaren drivers go at it next year. They're probably poised to be fierce rivals at the beginning of the season, especially as other teams such as Ferrari get situated with their two drivers, and then Max, of course, with Red Bull only. We'll see how Mercedes do as well. So, congratulations to McLaren. Shez and I will be back. Please do us a favor, hit subscribe if you can, leave us a comment, tell us how the season went. What was your greatest moment from the season?